Yeah, no, apparently I cannot. Well, we learned something today. Let's see what other options we have. I might just need to put this down for until after I'm done and figure it out then. I'm gonna do a quick bit of research and see if I can figure something out here. I wonder, is there a Unity plugin to do this? Unity screen to GIF? That would be incredibly... Oh, hey, screen to GIF. Record your screen, edit, and save as a GIF. Okay. Let's give it a go. Why not? So maximize on play. So it... Oh, wait. Yeah. This is a thing. Nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, here we go. Screen to GIF. Here, let me real quick get this so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Add window, screen to GIF, and there we go. Whoops, that's in the wrong thing though. That's in the... Wait, how do I do this? Confused. Okay, yes, remove that. Go to Unity, add Windows, screen to GIF, go, and screen to GIF, okay. Should be able to see that now. Are you guys able to see the screen to GIF window? Or is that still invisible? Oh, there we go. I had to press the transition thing. Okay, so I'm going to assume what I want is recorder here. So I'm going to go ahead and play the scene so I can get the size set up. So it should be... Recorder, okay, yeah, recorder, and then you get another window. I do have the other window. I guess, yeah, that's not going to show up unless I put it on. Take my word for it, it's there. And I'm actually going to set this FPS to like 60, which is going to make this gigantic. But again, it shouldn't matter bandwidth-wise. It should only be taking up more room on my computer, which is okay. So I'm going to wait until... oh crap, Rubber Ducky has stopped his animation. So I'm going to press play and then press record as soon as this comes up. So it's recording now. Oh wow, my computer is lagging. And it's still recording, And Rubber Ducky's doing his thing. And blinking, and I should be going, yeah, down here now. Coming back up, and bam. Okay, so that should be the GIF as a whole, and I'll set up a window so you can see this now. Window. Yep, that's fine. So then this... So then this is what we've got here, and the GIF does look like it worked, and I've got that solid white background, so I should be able to easily like crop that white out. Do I have frames of him moving anywhere? Yeah, here we go. Awesome. Okay, that seems reasonable. Is there any way of taking out a background here, by any chance? Do you know, Jacob, if there's a way of taking out like a background color or something, obfuscate? I don't think so, but you can check edit. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Okay, so we're gonna have to save this. Let's just do real quick. Do a playback, just so I can see what it looks like. I feel like it's not playing in real time. Wonder if I should be worried about that or not. Well, I guess we're gonna find out. If not, then I can just do this when I'm not also streaming, and it'll probably work better. Well, I mean, it seems to be playing okay, so I'm gonna save as. I want to save it as maybe actually as a video question mark at 60 FPS. Why would I want to? No, I don't think I want that. Save file to project quality. I mean, let's just take it the full way up and work with it as we need to. Oh, I wonder if there's a way in OBS to take out the background, like a color background or something. That could be true. I will look into that. That's fine, that's fine. And what do we want to save it as? I mean, Avi is probably fine for now. So I'm just going to save it to Ducky GIF, save. Let's see what it does. Yeah, full frames, please. Okay, it's got an encoder running. It says about 10% done right now, so it should only take a little while. But I'm going to turn that off for now and take that back to how it's supposed to be. And when that's done, we can take a look and see if we can pop it in to OBS at least. Let's take a look at Dust Twitter. I've been on this rampage of like trying to get a couple more followers here and there on Twitter. Not for like any particular reason. It's David, who's my brother, recently hit like 10,000, and I was like, oh man, wouldn't that be cool? So I was just like, I'm gonna see if I can get more Twitter followers. So since I started that, I think I've almost gotten 100, so it is going well. Holy crap, 3.4 gigabytes. I mean video files, right? Okay, let's just pop this in and see what we can do with it. So if I go to Unity scene here, I can delete that and that. And I can add video capture? That's not what I want. Game capture media source, maybe? That seems reasonable. Let's try media source. We'll call it Ducky GIF. Okie doke. And for right now, we'll just link it from there. And we'll loop it. And just press OK, see what we can do. It doesn't seem to like that. It's like this tiny little dot at the top of my OBS mixer. I'm going to call that it's going to take a little bit of doing to get that into like a good format that my computer is going to be able to handle. So I am going to leave that for after I'm done with the stream and have it ready for next time, I think. But in the stead, I'm going to actually maybe do a little bit of work on the game itself. So what I kind of wanted to do today, we can reorganize here a little bit. I'm going to have scene down here, game up there. Wow, where am I? There we go. Take that out of 2D. Okay, so here's what I've been doing for the past, like, couple weeks on this project. We'll do about halvesies like that. Oh, it maximizes on play. This will be okay. So I've gotten just, like, some basic ideas put down for the combat and stuff. So right now, I'm able to, like, do the jump and sort of shoot thing beneath me to do an extra hop or whatever, and I've got that, and then when you shoot those, they fly off the screen. Here, I'll put a couple more in, so you can kind of see what it looks like when there's extra peeps. They're just gonna, like, bonk out, because they're all in the same collider space. But, so, you know, this is kind of, like, the baseline idea of what I want the combat to be. But the problem is, with, like, you know, Rubber Ducky and the Rainbow Gun Remastered, you know, it kind of is that. I don't know exactly how to explain what my vision is for the game, but it is pretty much that. But with a lot more stuff. I don't know. There's going to be there's going to be a lot more depth in the story in it. I think it's going to be a little bit more meaningful than the last one was, hopefully. But the problem is, so you kind of saw how I was, you know, running around shooting, and that's fine. A very legitimate strategy is just to do this. No moving, just killing enemies as soon as they come within your range, and this is not fun. Make him spin in the air, like when you jump. You mean? So like, if I was to do that, he would kind of like around like that. Or do you mean like while I'm moving? Oh, like that? Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I will definitely try that. But after I do some of this stuff. So I need a way of being able to make it so that the combat is not possible with you just standing in the middle of the combat field all the time. And after some thinking about it, I came to this idea that my main problem is that the damage boxes on the enemies are on every side of the enemy. And an easy way of making sure that the player has to move is to make sure that they can't hurt the enemy from every single direction. So what I was kind of thinking today is I would like to code a system so that an enemy doesn't take damage from its own collision box, but rather from a different collision box parented within him, or anywhere, you know. It could just be any collision box. So let's open up enemy parent and see what we can't do with this. And I can transition over. Okay, that gave me a little bit of joy. So right now I've got take damage. So take damage comes from when on trigger enter. So that meaning right now damage is being taken from whatever the collider inside of, if you can kind of see it on the smaller screen, whatever the collider in the same inspector layer as that script is, which right now is right there. But what I want to have happen instead is for that collider to be anywhere. So I think what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to pop out this little bit of code here, this on trigger enter, and put it in its own script so I can kind of put that anywhere I want. So I'm going to find a nice place for this. Assets, scripts. Yeah, we'll just put it in scripts for now, and we'll call it enemy. For some reason, the word that's coming to mind is obtuse. I don't know why that is. It's not an obtuse damager. It is a desynced damager. Okay. So if I open that puppy up, did I already copy? No, I did not. Whoops! Little Freudian slip there. Where's my enemy parent? There it is. Just gonna drag that over. So I should be able to just comment this sucker out and paste that right in there. What is this music from? It is from Oh, it's not going to show me, is it? This sounds like SNES RPG of some sort, but I don't know which one. Anywho, so if we've got an on trigger enter for here, we've got take damage, which means we need a reference to the enemy parent, my enemy parent. So the idea is going to be, instead of the enemy parent taking damage directly, this is going to quote-unquote take damage and then siphon it over to the enemy parent, which is going to actually deal with the effects. So we can keep that alive. That's fine. So this will be my enemy parent dot take damage, and that should be my enemy parent as well, I believe. And that should actually desync the damager. But what I want to see is that the only place where it actually takes damage? And it does kind of look like it. I hear an ad. Get out of here! Much better. You can use this parent game object. Good point. The one problem with that is what if, say, I wanted this collider to be on a completely separate game object? Like, I don't know why, but just like what if? What if I wanted it to be on something that's flying out in the middle of space somewhere and you need to go hunt that down and kill it, which is a horrible idea, but, the example stands. Then it's better if it's just like a reference that can be shot any which way, and I can then just assign this reference in the inspector and save it as a prefab, and we're all good. So that's kind of why I want to do it this way, just because it's very versatile. But let's see if that works, because if not, maybe we need to do it the other way. So what I should be able to do then is I should be able to create, let's just do another sphere for testing's sake, and bring that out to some arbitrary place. And what I'm probably going to have this sphere be is it's going to just always be behind the movement vector. So it's probably going to automatically unparent when it instantiates, would be the idea. But we can... Oh! I guess No, I'll show that some other time. This engine has some really cool things to it. Excuse me, that aren't going to show well until I set them up, like, in the world correctly, but it's cool. I can't wait to show it off. So that's going to flatten it, which is fine. But let's not. Let's do 0.5, 0.5. Interesting that the collider isn't changing. Huh, okay. Kind of thought it would automatically, but whatever. Okay, so that just arbitrarily can be our damage spot for right now. I'll pick a... Do I have like a red shader, red map that I can use? Balloon red, why not? Oh, ew. That doesn't look good. What the heck? Isn't that supposed to have color on it? Oh, okay. I don't know how that got unlinked. That's totally supposed to have a color on it, though. Okay, anyway. And then it does this weird thing where it's, like, behind the ocean. Let's... Is that actually going to happen in gameplay? It kind of is. Yeah, shaders are so weird, man. I am not, like, an excellent shader programmer at all. I've done very little with them. But, I mean, for testing's sake, I guess it doesn't really matter. So we're going to put the... Oh! No, we're not yet. Because we want this one to have some special code in it. So we're actually going to make a child. We're going to call this flying enemy desync collider. So I'm gonna bring that up. Oh crap, I forgot to transition over to the other screen. Whoops, sorry. I'll get better at this. We're back in code though. So flying enemy desync collider plays. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this be a child of the enemy desync collider, and we're going to public void awake, transform.parent is equal to null. So what this is going to do is this is going to automatically delink itself so that I have a way of being able to control its position. Oh, or I could just put it on a pivot object and just rotate the pivot object. That would be a lot easier, wouldn't it? Thinking is happening. How would I do that then? So the pivot object would have the... Oh, yeah. Why not just keep it parented? So what I was thinking I was going to do, and actually I'm thinking I'm going to change this now, is that it would unparent, and then, because, you know, when a parent object moves, then it moves the child objects and stuff, and that can get really funky if you're trying to have, like, a desynced collider that can go, like, rotate around depending on which way that it's moving. So I was thinking I'd just use some math to then determine where it should be rotationally. But then I realized, why don't I just have an object in the middle that it's parented to, in the middle of the flying enemy, that then this is parented to, that just rotates itself so that it has a perfect arc. That's way easier, and it makes more sense. So I can actually... see, I'll remember to transition over this time. So I can actually... come down here, and I can delete this, because we don't need that. And what we're going to do is we're going to create empty desynced collider pivot, like that, and that's going to be at the 0 position of the flying enemy. And then this sphere is going to be parented to that, so whenever this rotates, the sphere has a perfect arc around the enemy. Yeah, this is way easier. I should have done this from the beginning. And this is going to be the actual desynced collider. So we can then put desync damager on there, drag in that for the parent, bump. So, oh, that probably needs to be a trigger, doesn't it? I hope that doesn't cause any problems. We'll see. So then we've got that there. Should be all set up. The enemy should no longer take damage directly. I'm kind of wondering, the bullets probably go through the enemy, though. Well, let's see what happens. Right now, this is going to be at a static position, so it's not going to look quite right, but... No, it just simply takes damage still. Wonder why that is. I wonder, am I doing that really horrible thing where the bullet is also damaging the enemy, and the enemy is also getting damaged by the bullet? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here, and I'm just going to say debug.log. Here, I can switch over so you can see. Debug.log is taking damage desync, and this is just going to tell me whether it's actually that little desync circle that's getting hit or not. Whop, we can switch on back. So yeah, that still is. Let's just run it and see what happens. Is taking damage desync, so yes. Oh yeah, no, so what's happening is the bullets are going through the enemy. Okay. That I can work with. So what we need to do instead is inside of here on trigger enter, if trigger is equal to damager. Actually, no, that's not what we should do at all. We should have this be done, excuse me, inside of the projectile itself, which is over here. Whoops, forgot to transition again. Do we not have an we need to find that little prefab MPL projectile, I believe. MPL bullet. Open that sucker up. So indeed, we do have the projectile, MLP projectile, as the acting script here. Which means I should be able to public void on trigger enter if other dot tag is equal to so if other, oh, it is enemy. Okay, that makes sense, right? Yeah, because this got enemy sphere collider. Is equal to enemy, then we'll just say destroy me. This is something that is cached, so I have a whole bunch of them and I'm grabbing them dynamically when I need them, which is why I'm not calling GameObject.destroy there, because it's going to go back into its cache eventually. Right now it just destroys itself, but transition back. I'm gonna go grab some water real quick. I'll be right back. Okie doke. Water has been grabbed. It is in this, I'll try to describe it to you, this horrifying, vibrant blue Frosty the Snowman cup that was like $1 at Walmart. It's really, really sketchy. I'll post a picture of it on Twitter when I'm done. It's really, really weird, man. But that is what I have, so that is what we're going to use. Skelebanes approves. Excellent, excellent. Okay, what were we doing? We were gonna test this, right? So now the enemy kills the bullets if we were able to get around him, and it damages him. Nice, so that works perfectly. Okay, good. Now we need to think about how we want to do this rotational thing. Excuse me. So we need a script on here, I think. Can we make it generic, or does it need to be specific to the flying enemy? That's the question. Yeah, we can totally make this generic. We can just have it be like a lerp to rotation sort of a script. So, what we're going to do is, notice, by the way, my excellently organized generic scripts folder. I was doing so good at keeping my scripts organized, and then there was just, like, one point in which I was like, I'm just gonna throw this script inside of my scripts folder, and it all just went downhill from there. Oh, boy. So, we's going to lerp to rot That'll be good. And the assumption is that this will always lerp the Z-rot, because although it's in 3D space, I'm really using the engine for 2D. So it might as well just always lerp to Z. Open that puppy up. Okay. Save that. Okay, we is going to have public void lerp to rot function float to rot. There's that. What don't you like about that? Oh! Huh. You can't see the drop-down, I don't think, but it says member names cannot be the same as their enclosing type. I don't think I've ever run into that before in C#. That's really interesting. Meaning because this function is named the same as this enclosing class, it's throwing an error. Let's just call it lerp2 rotation then. Why not? And then we're going to need update. And we're going to need... Yeah, because I think it's going to be a constructor function or whatever. Whatever. Oh, yeah, you're totally right. That's probably exactly why. Good call. Z-lerp. No, Z-rot. Makes way more sense. So, question, is it... Okay, I was going to say, is it better to have a single vector that gets set dynamically, or is it better to create new vectors? But then I realized setting vectors dynamically does some really wonky things, and creating a new vector is not really that expensive, so I'm just going to do that, I think. So, we also need an awake here. Void awake Z-rot is equal to transform dot wait, what am I doing wrong? Rotation. Oh, no, it is there. Dot Z. So whatever rotation it starts at will be considered like its base. So then we can come down here and we can say transform dot rotation. Fun fact, this transformer position actually returns you a copy of the vector, so you can't change it. Oh! I did not know that. That's really interesting. That makes sense, though. Huh. Yeah, no, I was just thinking, maybe that's why I've thought that it does funky things before, because I've tried doing exactly that. You know, let's try something new. Vector 3, my rotation vector. So you have to make a new one. This is equal to new vector 3. Yeah, that I've done a million times. But whenever I try to do something like, you know, my vector dot set 0, 10, 0 or something like that, that's when it always doesn't do what I'm expecting. But maybe that's why, because it's actually copy constructor. So what we actually have is my rotation is equal to, we can probably get rid of that entirely, new vector 3. Wait, so transform.rotation probably also returns a copy, right? Whatever. Nah. I was going to say, we could do something really funky here with that, but let's not. And transform.rot. Oh, and you know what? We also want local rotation. Not global rotation. Okay, so we've got that, and we can then just say transform.rotation is equal to vector 3.lerp of transform.rotation to my rotation, and we'll want a speed, public float, lerp speed times time dot delta time. Okay. Transform. Actually, this needs to be local rotation again. What's the problem here? Cannot convert. Oh, transform dot Euler angles. So transform dot Euler angles is equal to yeah, because Euler angles, I was just thinking, wait, are Euler angles local? But yes, they are. They're totally local. So Euler angle Z should work. So then all we need to do, assumedly, is just my rotation.set to my rotation.x, my rotation.y, and to rot. And assumedly, that should work. Let's give it a go. Switch on back. We've got, just totally lost my train of thought. What was I doing? Right, we're testing we're testing the rotation script. I hate it when that happens. So lerp to rot, lerp speed we're going to set at like 12 because it's speed multiplied by time.delta time. And then we just need a reference to that inside of flying enemy. So open that up. So public lerp to rot my desync pivot thing. Gotta give it a little twang. And then what we can do is we've got a reference to that set in the inspector. So every time it lunges, it probably wasn't obvious because I've got the music turned off, but actually all of the enemy movement functions in time to the music, which is kind of fun. So the faster the music, the more frantic the combat is, which I think is kind of a neat little parallel. So I'm looking forward to that. There's a lot of really cool stuff in the engine that I can't wait to like slowly be able to show you guys as I get it implemented into this nice looking test scene. Also, ew, that's gonna change. But what we can do is every time it lunges, I can just get the direction of the velocity and transform that into a Z. Do I have a function to do that stashed somewhere? I feel like I do. Wizard, I think it was when I was doing that. Degree to vector 2. Do I have vector 2 to degree? I do not. That's a shame. Wait. I know I've done this before. Where did I turn a vector 2 into a degree? Going to look through the code a bit, because if I've got it in another place already, I kind of want to reuse that code first, then just coding it again. You know what? It might have been in weapon parent, actually. Let me open that up real quick. That, I believe, is what I'm looking for. So that we've got, this is from 2 points. I think we can use this. I think this is what we need, at least to some degree. So, going back into flying enemy. So it's lunging. Ergo. Wait, Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted. So what we're going to need is we're going to need to take a lerp reference, but before that we're going to need to get direction, which is really easy, and then turn direction into Z rotation. That's the take lerp reference funnel. Is the general idea of what we need to do here. So let's go ahead and get the direction. That's going to be, we'll stash it by itself. Vector 2, my dir is equal to my... Oh, we're going to need to do this after we actually set velocity. Of course. Wow. And the music adjusts for the new revelation, apparently. So, okay. Vector 2, my dir is equal to my rigid dot velocity dot normalized. And so that should be a perfect direction vector. And so turn direction into Z rotation. And I believe, oops, crap. I believe that's going to have something to do with that stuff that I copied from weapons parent. Specifically that line. So we're going to come down here, and it's not going to be screen pause. So yeah, this is simply taking two different points, which we can probably use, because we can just use our position plus our velocity as the second point. So our position and then our position plus velocity. Is this the best way of doing it? I don't know. I think it'll work though. So we're going to say also going to pause or whatever is equal to transform dot position plus my dir. Wait, can I do that? No. Okay. Oh, you know why though? I can't do that because that needs to be cast to a vector 2. Okay. So now we should, so going to first at second, so that should be going to pause dot y minus y and going to pause dot x minus x rad times rad 2 degree. So that should get our angle, and for right now, oh, actually we can just set it and see what it does. What is the reference to our lerp called? My desync pivot thing. My desync pivot thing dot. Don't I have a lerp to rotation? This should be set lerp rotation. Set lerp rotation. Set lerp rotation to be get angle. And then just so I can see, I'm also gonna print get angle. See what we're getting. Okay, so every time the enemy moves, which is this public void lunge, that's called whenever he moves, that sets his rigid body's velocity to, you know, some point, wherever that might be. So this is going to set. Oh, you know what? This is going to make it so that the collider is always in front of the enemy. That's interesting, but probably pretty easy to change. Anyway, what this is actually, that's super easy to change. Minus my dir. Done. What this is going to do then is it's going to come down here and say, okay, my position versus where I'm going to be in a frame. Take those 2 points. And from those 2 points, infer an angle between those 2 points, and set the rotation of the pivot to that angle. And it should work pretty well. Let's take a look. Is everything set up, though? I'm thinking not. Yeah, no, that needs to have its reference set. And now everything should be good. So, if this works... Why is it doing that? I wonder if I should have set the lerp, if I should have tested the lerping pivot thing first. Oh, you know why? This is some freaking, you know what happens with angles, like Z-based angles, when they go from 0 to, negative 360, or 0 to 360 or something? The lerp function has no idea what to do with that, and so it just goes crazy. So actually, what we need to be doing here is, instead of set lerp rotation like that, instead of doing this, I think we need to do this as a quaternion then, which actually makes sense, ultimately. Oh, I hate working with quaternions, though. Okay. We're just going to do it, and we're just going to figure it out, and it's going to be fine. I'm going to check Twitter before I do this. This is my way of, like, taking a mental break. Not too much happening on Twitter. I kind of have this idea that possibly like people aren't on Twitter as much during the day as they are like in the evening or something like that. I guess, I mean, that makes sense. But I'm on Twitter more during the day. I'm on Twitter less during the evening. But I guess that's just kind of nature of the jobs that I work. Anyhoozle. Let's get the code back up. So I've made the plunge, and we're going to use a quaternion. That's going to happen. And now, excuse me. So we can quaternion to Euler, though, right? That should make it pretty easy. Quaternion.Euler. And that actually keeps that code the same. And we can quaternion, my rotation is equal to quaternion.Euler that, right? Well, if that's always going to be 0, right? Because we know it's always going to be 0, because that's what we set it to initially. So we can do that. Give a nice 2 rot. And now, this is the interesting part. So we've got rotation. We then need to transform.local rotation, because that's a quaternion. Local rotation is equal to quaternion.lerp of local rotation to my rotation, lerp speed, time delta time. I don't see a reason why that shouldn't work, because I think that should get rid of the issue of that thing spinning around like nuts. Let's take a look. Okay, way closer to what needs to happen. At least it's predictable now. It's still not quite right. It's like at exactly 90 degrees of where it should be, which is interesting. Because like when it's moving directly at me, or maybe it's more like 45 degrees, but it's definitely not pointed quite correctly, like away from me. In fact, if anything, it's pointed towards me, which is not quite right, but we're definitely a lot closer. So what am I doing wrong? Oh, that's probably not in the LERP script, though. That's probably in the flying enemy script. Let's see. My desync pivot thing. Could it have something to do with this? Oh, it probably has something to do with the math calculation, right? Wait, can I convert a vector 2 to a quaternion? That would make this really easy, wouldn't it? Hold on. Vector 2 dot angle from 2. Oh, that's interesting. No, that's not what we need. No, there has to be a way. Wait, maybe it's a quaternion function. Quaternion dot angle. No, angle axis. No. Oh, that's interesting. That's not what we need though. Euler rotation, Euler angles, Euler from to rotation. That might be what we need, from to rotation. I'm going to look that up here in a second. Look rotation? Wait, look rotation. I think I've used this before. So quaternion look rotation. Let's take a look at it. So what it takes a forward vector and then also a space vector. Look rotation. So what I'm thinking is we might be able to just get rid of all of this entirely and pipe in a normalized vector, my rigid dot velocity dot normalized. Might be able to just pipe in a normalized vector and get a quaternion. He says. Well, of course we can. No, but get a quaternion pointed in the right direction, which means we would want to do a new version of this function, which is a quaternion to rot, and my rotation is literally just equal to 2 rot, which makes it pretty simple. Or we could do a version where it takes a vector 2, I guess, but this works. Actually, I might do that just because I'm really bad at remembering things. Public void set lerp rotation to vector 2 to rot. I could have copied that, but we's good. We's in the hood. And we can just call that on whatever we sent in. My rotation is equal to, and that's going to be 2 rot. And then, so flying enemy. So now we can get rid of that and instead call my desync pivot thing dot set lerp rotation. Let's see what that does. Okay, so instead, this is going to take the velocity of the enemy. It's going to normalize it, which turns it into a vector 2 directional vector. Well, I guess technically it's a vector 3 directional vector, but we're going to be using it as a vector 2 directional vector because we don't care about z direction. And then we're going to come in here. We're going to set the quaternion lerp via this function here. And then it should lerp to that quaternion once it's set. So let's give that a go, see what it does. Is there anything else I need to do? No, I don't think so. I think we just see if it works. Oh no! Oh no, that's not right. What the heck? Why does it look like that? Why is it scaling? Wait, is it actually scaling? It has... Oh, right. Because it rotated, Yeah, no. That totally makes sense. Dang. But that doesn't change the fact that I feel like I've found, or that I've used this function in this code base before. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find it and see it what I used it for, because I'll bet whatever I did there is going to tell me how I should use it now. Maybe I haven't. I'm not seeing it down here. You guys might not be able to see the search bar. There's a search bar right here at the bottom. Yeah, thinking that I have not. That's too bad. Man, I just hate dealing with rotations in 3D space. I never get it right the first try. Okay. Right. So what do we need to do here? We need to take a velocity and turn it into a quaternion. Let's just Google it, see what comes up. Velocity to quaternion. Unity. Whoops. Rotating to the direction of velocity. That should help. It says quaternion look direction of rigid body velocity, which is almost exactly what I did. So this guy, what he's doing, I can kind of show you guys here. Hold on. Window capture. Actually, I'll just capture my screen here for a second. Add full screen. Okay. Source add. Display capture. Create new main window. Okay. And yeah, that pupperoonie is what we want. So go ahead and transition to that. Okay, so what this guy is saying here is that he is from to direction. Original direction, now direction. So what is unity from to direction, or rotation, whatever it'll come up. Or not! Alright. Why is unity quaternion from to rotation? There it is. Okay. Creates a rotation which rotates from direction to direction. So this would set the rotation so that the transform's y-axis goes along the z-axis. So the y-axis... Oh, wait. I think I'm starting to get this. So the y-axis, which is the up-axis, goes to the z-axis, which I'm assuming that's the default there. So it rotates forward. I feel like this could be useful. Let's go back to normal here. And remove that. Yeah. Get rid of that for the moment. Actually, let's go back to the code window. So if we're taking a vector 2 to rot, let's try quaternion dot from to rotation. From direction is going to be vector. See, we can choose the axis perhaps. So from direction to direction. Wait, can we do a rotate around? Wait. This actually might be what we need to do. Rotate towards. From to look rotation. Creates a rotation with the specified forward and upwards directions. Let's see. I feel like this could be correct. So to rot, and upwards is going to be. Oh my gosh! No, wait. This is not what we need, is it? Well, let's just try it. Upwards would be Z forwards, which should actually just be transform dot forward. Oh wait, do we have vector 3 dot forward? Is that vector 3 dot forward? Nice. Okay, that should work. I have no guarantees as to whether this will work code-wise, but it's worth a try. You know, that's actually a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. It's still rotating strangely around the Z. Wait, how exactly did this rotate now? So the pivot itself is now doing what? See, it's still rotating on these two axes here. And if we were to zero this out, you'll see that looks a lot closer to what it's supposed to be. Which, I mean, technically I could probably just fudge. Yeah, let's give it a try and see what happens. My rotation. Oh, but you can't really do that with quaternions, can you? No, you can't. Oh, gosh. Okay, I think I need a new planet attack plan here. I think the idea of having this be something Z-related is not a bad one, first of all. Because that does make things quite a bit simpler logistically speaking. Sorry, I'm thinking. So why didn't that work before? Assumedly because my math was wrong. So let's just go back to this for a second. Let's go back to that specifically and just take a look at what exactly it did. So I'm going back to the Z rotation aspect, where we're rotating off of Z. So the problem with this is what? That it's like 90 degrees off, right? Can't I just like manually fix that if that's a constant problem? So right now it's moving horizontally. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna see if I can fudge this just to get this to work. So that should be potentially plus like 120 degrees. Let's just see what it does. I don't know. It's a matter of interest. Is it exactly 180 degrees off? Like, is this working as intended and it's just not what I expect it to be, perhaps? Oh, well, that's interesting. Maybe this is not so incorrect as I thought. So you can see that this doesn't seem to be pointing at Ducky all the time. Neither does the enemy move toward Ducky all the time. However, it kind of moves somewhat randomly. You can see he's kind of picking up off the ground a little bit. Actually, I don't think that this is as far off as I was thinking it was. Maybe what actually needs to happen is I need to move the object closer to the pivot point, actually. So we're just going to keep that for a second. So let's go ahead and... Where's you? There's you. So right now, where are we at? So this little guy is not centered, first of all. That's probably not helping things. Well, let's see what that looks like. I don't know. It's worth a try. So that is now like 90 degrees off. I swear that's like 90 degrees off. Yeah, I'm like 29% certain that that's 90 degrees off. Which, I mean, potentially is as simple as doing that, but I mean, the issue might be deeper. No, see, that's doing what I expected to. I think that that's actually exactly what I'm hoping for. So if I was to go to this side, yeah. No, that totally looks right. Awesome. Okay. So it does make these guys quite a bit harder to hit. So what I kind of want to do is get a few of them out on the field, and maybe some of these guys are going to be the not gigantic versions. And just kind of take a look at what it feels like to try to shoot them. Well, I can tell you right off immediately, it is quite a bit more difficult than it was before. Not necessarily in a bad way, but in the maybe they're moving a little bit too fast for me to really be able to shoot them sort of a way. But this is, I think, significantly more interesting already than it was before. So I think we're heading in a good direction here. But yeah, this is definitely too difficult to hit them, without a doubt. I like this. I think this is actually going a good direction for sure. What are we going to try to do to make this easier to hit them? We can make them move more slowly, so it's easier to get around them. Let's try that first. Can I do that? Not really. Okay, we'll just do it this way. And they do tend to clump up a little bit. I'm kind of okay with that because it means that it makes a little clump that you can position around. So I'm not too worried about that. We're going to take beat speed up to 4. Wait, isn't that going to mean they move faster? No. Okay, they move slower. So if we've got this like that, it's still pretty difficult to get around them. Not impossible, though. That feels quite a bit more satisfying, I would say, than before. Okay. I think part of this whole thing working is going to be in having some weapons that are able to pierce through enemies, for, you know, some logistical cost of the weapon not being quite as good. Or maybe if you hit them on the enemy collider itself, maybe it bounces them back. That could work. That could work. Ooh. I like that. I think that would be really good. Okay. Thinking. So how are we going to do that? That's probably pretty simple, right? The question is, should it bounce them back in a way so that it exposes their collider? Probably not, because then it just turns into a game of shooting them. Once again, unless they bounce back really far. Let's try it where it doesn't expose their collider first, though. No, go away. I'm gonna, real quick, do another shill on Twitter for the stream. I think we just had a combat breakthrough. Check out the dev stream for a little while. And then you give a link, twitch.tv/duckydev. That's me! Okie doke. So let's imagine that these guys were getting bumped back. Yeah, I think having them be bumped back is kind of necessary to this working. When you hit them on the close side. I think they might be piling up too, which is why we get like those extra projectiles sometimes like that. Or maybe is that a randomization thing? I guess I don't know for sure. I will have to look into that. Okay, this is good. I'm actually really excited now. So flying enemy, we're going to what are we doing here? So flying enemy, when he gets hit with the bullet, should enemy parent do this? Yeah, maybe enemy parent should do this. Yes, I think so. So, flying enemy already has the code for this, so we're just gonna real quick copy this and then make edits as necessary. And we're gonna call this public. Wait, do I already have a lunge function for these guys? Fly off, make into giant, take damage. I don't think so. Okay. Just thought I might have. So we don't need that. And I don't think we're going to need this, but we can keep it around just in case, I guess. So, lunge speed, degrees. So we know what degrees are going to be potentially. Should I do this as a vector 2, or should I do it as a float, or should I do both? Probably both would ultimately be the good idea. And I can actually already use fly off as a way of getting... Oh yeah, from damage or get fly away direction. Dude, I've already got the... I don't need this doof. Because I've already got the code to do this. Nice! So, what's we gonna do is, I think first we're gonna turn down our microphone just a smidge, because I think I'm clipping it like every single time I say anything. Sorry. Second thing we're gonna do is, we're gonna use this general idea, and we're gonna have lunge, we're gonna call this lunge away, and damager from damager, and, oh, I didn't copy it correctly. And this is simply setting the velocity, which is helpful. And we can have a public variable to tell me how fast I should fly. I'm kind of wondering, what should, like, it should be a small amount, but it obviously needs to be variable per the enemy. So I think I'm just going to have it have a default so that, like, it automatically has something in the inspector, but obviously because it's public, it'll be able to be changed. So lunge on hit amount. And for right now, we're going to set this equal to 5? 2? I don't know. Let's try 2, see what happens. So that's going to be lunge on hit amount. Get flyway dir from damager, get flyway dir from my game object. Okay. I don't know why I set it up that way, but it probably works, so we're just going to go with it. So what we're going to do is we get the velocity, we get the normalized direction, we get that. It still needs to lerp back to 0, but I suppose every excuse me, every enemy is probably going to take care of that themselves, which I know the flying enemy already does, so I probably am at the point where I could test this if I just had it set up to test, which is pretty easy, I think. So if call equals damager, we get damager, and then lunge away from the damager. And this should just kind of work. Well, it's definitely setting... Oh, golly. What's going on here? Oh, I think because their velocity is getting reset by the bullets is what's going on here. And I'm kind of feeling like what's probably happening here is either that public variable... Oh, the public variable probably didn't end up getting set correctly, did it? Where is that? That's... Where is that? What was it called again? Lunge on hit amount. 2. Sketchy. Maybe it needs to be more. Like 14, maybe? Also, this is going to need to change depending on what they get hit by, so each weapon is going to need to have a multiplier that gets, or each damager, rather, is going to need to have a multiplier that gets put into the equation. Now, see, it's just stopping them, which probably means that fly away dir is, not correct. So, lunge away. Could it be perhaps that it's being set constantly? Maybe? I don't know. It's worth a look here though. So debug.log. Oh. No. We're gonna debug.log this statement here, and I'll bet that that's gonna come up as vector20. Yeah, see, you can tell in the inspector at the bottom left there, that's always vector20. Or actually it's a vector30. Why is that? So get flyaway dir. But that works up here. That's a really interesting thing that's happening there. For right now, I'm just going to get rid of this, because what might be happening... See, okay, this is probably what's happening. The bullet is getting destroyed first, and because of that, its rigid body is having a 0 velocity, and then when it goes to get the flyaway dur, that's 0, and so it doesn't go anywhere. So I might need something else to destroy this, potentially. I will think about that. Oh, wait a minute, I'm such an idiot. Dude, let's just have this happen here instead of here, right? Yeah. We do not need this at all, I don't think. I think we can just lunge away and send in myself. I do not see a problem with that. I'll just need to do it on each individual weapon, but that's probably alright anyway. So other.get component of enemy parent dot lunge away, right? Yeah. If other tag is double equal to enemy. Yeah, because only the parent object has that tag. Okay, yes, we're good. I was thinking, wait, what if the desynced damager also has the tag of enemy, then what? But no, I think it'll be okay. So if we call that first, this should work now, I think. Let's give it a go. Nice, okay. That's definitely maybe a little bit too powerful, but that pretty much does what I was hoping it to. So I can kind of push these guys around now and start working on getting closer to them and stuff like that. I wonder if maybe they should take a small amount of damage when I push them away like this, because this is still kind of difficult to destroy single people. Or maybe they should have multiple damaging bits on them. That would also kind of make sense, wouldn't it? Or maybe they should turn around. Let's see what happens. Why not? So how would I do that? Oh, I just set the lerp, right? I think that's it. So, did I make that a virtual? That should be a virtual. So virtual void lunge away. So we're going to come in here and we're going to public override void lunge away. That one. We'll call the base, but we're also going to do this code, which I should probably put in a function if I'm going to use it a bunch of different places, but hey. But actually, I think the base needs to be called first so that my velocity is actually set. Okay. Quick edits. So yeah, now that makes it so that they turn around. I don't think I mind this too much. The thing is, it does kind of invalidate just standing here, because it's much harder to hit them. So I think the goal here is we need to make it so that the amount that they fly away is greater enough than the amount that this thing can shoot. That it's not really a valid strategy, just stand still like this. Or at least that it's not the easiest strategy, because that's really what ultimately you're fighting against, is that being the easiest strategy. You know, I don't think this feels that bad, honestly, as this. In fact, I think it kind of works. Because running at people like this is totally valid now, which is fun. So I don't mind that that's a valid way of going about things. Not terrible. Not terrible. let's go ahead and just spam a whole bunch of people around and see what it feels like. Paste. Wow, that's a whole bunch. It feels kind of hectic, which is not bad. So I would also prefer if I had something that could get me out of that situation. Now they're all messed up because they've been colliding with each other and have moved on the z-axis. That's a bug I need to fix. Maybe even a bug I need to fix before I can properly test this, to be quite honest. Let's just do a couple, oh gosh. Let's do a couple run-throughs here and just kind of see how things feel. Yeah, so that, I think if they're, I think that if they're lunging and they hit another enemy, it needs to lunge back as well. Oh man, I do think that needs to happen. I don't think it would be that hard either. Okay, let's go to go. I think it should be pretty easy. Real quick, I'm gonna just check on the stream here, make sure everything's okay. This is my test stream, if you didn't catch that before. Just trying to see if, like, my equipment is working okay and everything. So I'm just gonna pop in real quick, see if everything seems okay. Yeah, no, it does seem. I might want to clean up how the Unity thing works. I don't know. We'll see. But I am going to be right back. I'm going to use the restroom real quick. And for now, I'll just leave that running so something is moving on screen. But I'll be back in like 2 minutes. Oh boy, those guys really clumped up. Jeez Louise, man. Okay. I think I need to fix that Z fighting. It's not really Z fighting, but that glitch there. Checking some things. Checking some things. Type, type, type. Type, 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 type. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I want to make it so that, so the plan here is, when one of these guys is pushed into another one, I want to make them both lunge back. I think it'll create this really cool like wave-like effect back, and also make it a little bit easier to fight people, you know, back, if that kind of makes sense. So, how's we gonna do this? Also, maybe just before I do that, I should also try turning these guys back to the beat speed that I had before, which was 2, just to see what that's like. Oh yeah, it's incredibly difficult to deal with. So for right now, I think I'm going to keep that at 4 and see what making it so that they get knocked back into each other does, and maybe possibly readjust things depending on what that does. Wait, what happens when I accidentally scroll that down? Oh, interesting. Okay, wah. Want to come in here and so when it lunges, no, specifically when it Sorry, super distracted. I need to send a message to someone. It's twitch.tv/that. Whee! Bump. Okay, message sent. So, what we need to do here is when it enters a collision with another enemy, if that tag... Oh, wait. Oh. Wait a minute. If I don't have a check for whether or not the thing is being pushed back, this is going to get really, really complicated really quickly in terms of, like, it doing all sorts of weird stuff. So what are we going to do about that? That's a really good question. I guess I can just have a check and say, hey, you know, if you're lunging, you are lunging until your velocity is below a certain point, and then you're not. That seems pretty reasonable. Let's just do it that way. So, coming in here, and we might as well just do this in the parent object. Whoop. We can public bool is being pushed from damage. So I kind of like the idea that if you hit the damaging spot on an enemy, that it doesn't actually get pushed around. I think it's going to feel more satisfying that way. Possibly. Right. So is being pushed from damage. That's going to be is being pushed from damage equals false. And then if we call lunge away, is being pushed from damage is equal to true. And inside of here, we can just do a real quick check to see If not is active, return. Meaning we probably should put it in here. If is being pushed from damage, and my rigid dot velocity dot magnitude is smaller than, I don't know, 1, I guess. Oh, that's actually pretty large. Let's try more like 0.1f. I don't know, 0.0, 1f. We'll figure it out. So is being pushed from damage is equal to false. Oh, and that's pretty much it. So that's a thing. And we can then, trying to think here. We're going to need to use this to tell, okay. We're going to need to use this to tell the flying enemy whether it can lunge or not. If is being pushed from damage, return. So it just isn't going to do that at all. Right, and then here's the other thing. Do we want to do this specifically for the flying enemies? Let's just do it for all of them first and see what happens. So public void on collision enter if right, we're gonna probably need to, we're probably going to need to make it so the first one that collides is going to lose velocity when it collides with the next one, just so that we don't have like an infinite loop of them all just like out into the stratosphere. Although that could be kind of funny. Let's just try it and see what happens. So if is being pushed from damage, and collision.tag.gameObject.tag, there we go, still equal to enemy. Then we can collision.gameObject.getComponent of enemy parent dot lunge away of, oh, it's got to be from a damager, huh? Oh, I could, well, do we want to, okay, do we want to have it, what am I trying to say? Do we want to have it so that it flies in the exact same direction, or should it fly in a direction that would make sense from like where it collides with the other enemy? Oh, let's just have it fly in the same direction for now. I mean, we can change it. And to do that quickly, we're going to private damager hold pushing damager. Hold pushing damager is equal to from damager, and then we're just going to do hold pushing damager. Okay, I'll make it happen. And that should technically work. Let's see what happens. Right, so if I push, does it work? I can't tell if it's working or not. I'm going to hedge on, I think it's not. Oh, right, of course it's not, because that damager doesn't exist anymore. So we do need a different version of lunge away. One that takes, how about just a vector? Public virtual void lunge away, and instead it's going to take a vector. 3 direction. Right. No, this will totally work. Dot lunge away, and we're going to send in my rigid dot velocity dot normal. So now we just need to do. Do we keep that? We might as well keep that for now. You never know, it might be useful. Going to do that, and we're going to set this to direction, and that should be perfect. Nice. Let's see what that does. Oh, I forgot to transition the screen again. Man, that's hard. It's hard to remember. Okay, that is that is definitely working, and it's also a little bit ludicrous. Yeah. So I think I need to make it so that I can send in a parameter for amount and send in the magnitude. Multiply by the magnitude or something. Let's lunge away, float magnitude times magnitude. And that's going to be normalized, and then we're going to just turn that into how about my rigid dot velocity dot magnitude over 2 or something like that. So then every time it'll half. Man, I forgot to transition the screen again. What kind of stream is this? Jeez. Okay, yeah, and they're already all over the place, obviously. So that is working. I'm trying to just, like, see how I feel about it in terms of, is it fun? Yeah, I think so. And it feels like, when I'm all crowded around like that, it feels manageable because I'm able to push them back enough. I mean, obviously past the first point where they kind of run right into me. Because when I push them back, it like pushes more back, so it kind of carves a hole that I can be part of. The problem here is we have re-legitimized this. So I I don't know, man. So is this really the best way of doing it? I don't know. Maybe what might be the best way of doing it is that some enemies are not able to be pushed back, and the flying enemies just are. Because I do think that they should be, because they do have that cluster ability. But I'm kind of wondering if maybe other enemies should not be able to be pushed back. So that you kind of are forced to find ways to get around them to actually deal damage to them. I think this is still a step in the right direction for sure. And then, of course, you can have an enemy type that has a damage or a collision box all around them. So that will be super satisfying when it happens. Yeah, let's experiment with some enemy types here. I think that's what I want to do now. Now that we've got some base mechanics to work off of. I'm going to do my Twitter sweep here. What time is it? 3 o'clock, huh? You guys should tell me if you like the playlist in the background or not. I just kind of chose a video game music playlist that I thought would be kind of nice. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to do like some sort of a bouncing enemy. You can't like, well, maybe when you do knock it back, it doesn't like flip around, so you can shoot the back of it. Oh, you know what? Before we go to any further here, we definitely should try it where they don't flip around when you hit them as well, because that, I mean, technically does make more sense for like what the combat could be. I don't know. Let's try it though. So it's just as simple as taking this line out, or these 3 lines out. So, oh, maybe it's not that simple. Oh, I'm an idiot. I took it out of the wrong place. Yes, you can see. Instead of taking it out from lunge, we need to take it out from lunge away. Oh, right, and I made it so that only these guys do that. So go ahead and take that out. So now, instead, it's going to be up to finding a way to get around them to deal damage, which of course is completely impossible in this particular scenario. This would be like next to impossible to actually do. So what I'm thinking is 2 different enemy types. One that does this and one that doesn't. Because, yeah, this is not going to work. This is not nearly as good. So... Okay. So we can have multiple different enemy types. Let's just take another run at this just to see what it feels like again. I almost feel like maybe the shotgun should pierce. I think that would make it really super satisfying and fun to use. I think I'm going to do that. I think that's actually the next thing I'm going to try doing. Is it going to be super powerful then? Yeah. Yes, it will. Do I have another statement? No, it's just going to be really good then. Then what do I do about that? Maybe I make it fire slower. That would kind of make sense. It probably needs to anyway. Okay, let's do that. How do I do that? I need to have a variable that I can set to have it be destroyed or not when it collides with an enemy. Yeah, that's actually pretty easy, I think. So I can transition on over to my code, and it's okay. Streaming takes a lot of bandwidth. Okay, so I can come on over here, and we can have just a public bool destroy on touching enemy. Sure, that works. And then if destroy on touching enemy is true, then it will, I already kind of have a variable to do this, it looks like. This is a little bit more nuanced, I guess. We'll work with it, and I can delete the other one. So if destroy on touching enemy, then destroy on touching enemy. We're going to default it to true. On touching enemy is equal to true. And then we're going to come down to weapon parent. Selecting it from the hierarchy here. And when it makes a bullwhip, I think this is the shotgun bullet here, which means we should be able to say projectile dot destroy on touching enemy is equal to false, and that should just kind of work, I think. Let's give it a go. Yeah, I think so. Also, it's colliding several times in a row, which is why all those particles are getting made. I think that feels pretty decent. Especially if the range on the shotgun was shorter, so you couldn't, like, do this. You know? Why is it that sometimes that doesn't deal damage? Huh. Oh, he just, like, can't have damage dealt to him at all. Oh, right. He's probably at a weird Z. Okay, yeah. That's a different thing entirely. I think I know what's going on there. Boy, starting up in the air like that is just not the best, is it? But no, this piercing thing seems to totally work fine. Actually, I don't really feel like the shotgun is that overpowered, to be quite honest. I mean, is it powerful? Yeah, but not like super, super overpowered, sort of powerful. If I was to rebalance these just a little bit so that the spewer thing had a little bit more range and the shotgun had a little bit less range, I think they'd be pretty dang equal, actually. Here, I'm going to take another spin at it just to get a feel. And I don't think I need to take the speed of the shotgun down at all, which is actually kind of nice, because I kind of like having it this fast. Yeah, no, I'm logistically finding use for both of them, which is good. Good. Nice. Ooh, I'm just so excited. This is starting to take shape a little bit, and that is very fun. Okay, what do I need to do? I want to readjust this shotgun so that it has a little bit less range. I want the blower thing to have a little bit more range. Do I already have a range for these guys? I feel like I do. Speed. Projectile dot. Do I have something in here that'll work? Oh, sorry. Here's the thing. I'm looking for a variable. Man, I don't see one. Timeout. Right, wait. That seems pretty good to me. Timeout. Where's timeout? Yeah, timeout will totally make that happen, I believe. Timeout timer equals timeout. Nice. Okay, excellent. This is perfect. So, dot timeout is equal to, I don't know. Where's the other? Do we have another timeout in here somewhere? Nope, that's the only one. Oh, fire shotgun bullets. Wait a minute. Oh, so that calls make bullet a whole bunch. And then, where is the, oh, that also calls make bullet. Oh, crap. All of them are going. That's why they feel so... Okay. All of them are piercing through enemies right now. And that's why... Yeah. So I need to have make bullet, take a should pierce, bool should pierce, and make bullet rot, so that there bool should pierce. So now that can take should pierce. And this can take should pierce. Wait, false. That can't take a parameter that is supposed to be defining. That doesn't make any sense. And that can be true. And then is equal to should pierce. Excellent. So that's done. And now we need a range. Okay, before I do anything else, I want to see what that now feels like, because I guess I haven't actually tested this for how it's supposed to. Ooh, we've got an error. That's for the machine gun. So make bullet should pierce equals false. Yeah, we all good. Okay, let's give this another go. So the shotgun is not piercing, and the machine gun is... I feel like it might be. How have I managed to get this backwards? Hold on a mo. Destroy untouching enemy is equal to not should pierce. Instead, that's the problem. So now this guy, man, stop. Okay, get to a place where I can kind of test. Machine gun feels totally fine. The shotgun is now way better than the machine gun. Well, not way better, but it is definitely better now. So it needs to be toned down a little bit, I think. Also, we're having that problem where the bullets, like, sponge into one enemy. So we need to fix that before we can really get an idea of how this feels. So, we're gonna fix that then. Stretch, 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 stretch. Okay, take a Twitter break. Twitter break, Twitter break, Twitter break. This is good music for a Twitter break. Where'd it go? Video pause. Continue watching. Yeah! Keep watching. Thank you. Nice. Twitter break, Twitter break, Twitter break. I posted, oh gosh, I posted a poll on my Twitter where it's like, hey, David, Twitter break is like 90% of the time I should be spending working. I know, same! Yeah, but I posted a Twitter poll on my Twitter where it's like, hey, David, a few of us got together and found out that, and one of the options that I put was Dusk is merging with FNAF. And I'm thinking about this and I'm saying, it's not that bad of an idea, right? It's probably a pretty bad idea, but I think it'd be kind of interesting. I don't know. Okay. Out of Twitter break mode, back into work mode. Jeez, dude. I think I actually did that psychologically because of that music change. I think that had nothing to do with me deciding that. I think that was 100% the music change. That is so weird, man. Okay. I'm gonna turn my mic down again. I think I'm clipping it, like, all the time again. Alright, let's do it. So what we want to do, we want to make it so that the shotgun bullets don't all sponge into a single enemy if they're too closely clustered together. Which should be as easy as the enemy not being able to be hit after it's dead. Yeah, let's do that. going into the projectile here, so if other tag enemy, so I actually probably need to do an outer thing here. Wait a minute. So why is the bullet being destroyed in the first place? Because it's not supposed to be if it's hitting an enemy. Override void hit enemy. Oh. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Damager is probably calling hit enemy, isn't it? Which means I don't think I actually need any of this code in here. I can probably put that in here, can't I? I forgot about that. This enemy. Leify, is that how you say your name? Did that WhatsApp notification, are these throwing you off? Yes, stay prepared, it's important. Okay, so, let's see if that works. So I should be able to just like delete this bit of code altogether, and it should still work all the same because I've actually got a system to do it. Yeah, that seems correct. In fact, I might say that this is actually doing more what I expect it to now, which is broken and not correct, but also, you actually managed to pronounce my name correctly. You should be proud. Most people get it wrong. I try. So I feel like this is not being called. Log did get destroyed. What I feel like is happening here is all bullets are piercing right now, even though these ones, oh no, that says no. Woo, this is just quite the cluster. Wow, okay, there's so many things that need to happen before I can tell what the heck's going on here. First, enemies need to, if they fly, then they are flying and they are not lunging away. So that's the first thing. Which means lunge away if not is flying. Then you do that, and we'll just put that same check up here. If actually, no, let's not. So what this should do now is it should mean that they fly as fast as they're supposed to. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, jeez. Why are they... They're flying at the speed of them being lunged. Oh, I wonder if it's because the lunge script is proccing after the flyaway script is. I'll bet that's, or maybe before, or something like that. I'll bet that has something to do with it, though. Oh, right, because I've got two different versions. If not is flying, and I didn't change the right one. Okay, I think we're good now. Let's give that another go. Oh, much better. Much better. Okay. I think it's, yeah, I think all the bullets are still piercing though. Which, oh my gosh. I mean, It feels good to use, but that's not right. Script execution order has given me many a headache. Yeah, I know, right? Do you use Unity at all? Like, what sort of projects have you worked on before? One thing that tripped me up so much before I had, like, a standard way of handling it was awake versus start. Because, you know, they are functionally the same, but if you don't choose to use the right one at the right time, you can really shoot yourself in the foot down the road. That was definitely a problem for me for a while. Okay. Right, what are we doing? We are trying to figure out why the machine gun bullet seems to be piercing. Even though it says that it's not. Oh. Probably because it is... what am I trying to say? Probably because it isn't actually colliding with the enemy collider. I worked on a cutesy 3D platformer in Uni with a bunch of friends at Uni. Oh, gotcha. What's up, for a class or just for fun? It wasn't great, but I'm still pretty proud of it. Dude, progress is always progress. Doesn't matter, like, what quote-unquote quality. It's always good, you know? Okay, so I do think we actually need a void on trigger enter. It was for my degree, actually. Nice. What did you major in? If other dot call other dot game object dot tag double equals enemy. Okay, so we're going to do that. So I think what's happening is they're getting destroyed, but only when they touch the damager, not when they touch the actual enemy. So we're just going to do it that way. This should work. Game development programming, although the college system in the US is very different to the UK. I didn't have any majors as such. Really? So it was more like focusing on game development programming? Okay, nice. So that is working. It's just not doing what I wanted to. Yeah, the entire thing was just that. Interesting. So it's more like what the U.S. would call a trade school then? Is that right? And we can... So I guess I do actually need to have this code in not here. Okay, we're just gonna go do a whole bunch of undos. So that had destroy me before, and that was like that before, and this should actually work fine. I guess all degrees are like that over here. That's really interesting. Yeah, I mean, in the US, you probably know, like, all college degrees are this giant mishmash of a whole bunch of different things. Which some people really like, and some people really don't like. I'm kind of right in the middle. I think it's good in some ways, and also if you like have an idea of what you want to do already, it's not really very useful. Like to get a whole bunch of other bits of knowledge that aren't going to be useful to that thing that you want to do. But then sometimes it's like some people just really like having a lot of bits of knowledge. So it's, you know, it's different things for different people is the point. But I don't think people really use it that way a lot of the time, which is kind of sad. They just, you know, go to college because that's what you're supposed to do, sort of a thing. Okay, I think this is working how I expect it to, which is good. And the machine gun definitely does need to have a little bit more of a range to balance out the shotgun. Because right now the shotgun is definitely quite a bit better, I would say, and quite a bit more useful. But if the machine gun was a little bit longer range, or maybe if the machine gun pushed people back further? Or Or if it dealt more damage, perhaps? No, I think I want to make it... I think I want to make it so that it has a longer range. Because that just kind of rings as... Yeah, I think that's ringing to me as more important, because then it can be used more as a tool to keep people away. That totally makes sense. Nice. Okay, let's give that a go. Dude, this is jazzy music. What the heck? This is definitely Pokemon music, but I don't know what Pokemon music. I like it. So what we need to do is we need to go back into weapons parent and I have a timeout, right? Oh yeah, I just need to add a timeout as a parameter here. That should be pretty easy. Okay. Float timeout. I wonder what the default timeout is for like the shotgun bullet as is. Well, I kind of want to adjust that anyway and maybe make it a little bit smaller, possibly. So whatevers, I guess. So machine gun timeout is going to be like, right now it's probably like half a second. I'm going to make it like 75.75. I think with time.delta time that should be 3/4 of a second, if I'm not mistaken. And then in make bullet down here, we've got float timeout. Timeout. There we go. And then we've got projectile.timeout is equal to timeout. And one more change down there. And timeout for these guys is we're going to keep that, well, potentially keep that at half a second. Oh. What did I do wrong? Oh, right. That's for the other, I missed that last time too. Just goes to show my code is well organized. Okay, let's see what that feels like. So that, oh, is this even working? I feel like they're going the same distance, which, I am skeptical. I wonder if timeout is being set somewhere else, like in the constructor, or where's timeout? Timeout equals -1. Timeout equals timeout. I don't know why that doesn't seem to be working. Let's make it a little bit more ridiculous in terms of like making that super small and the other one super large, and see if that, see if I can see a difference. Like we'll make that 200, and that. That one will also be 200, I guess. That shouldn't really matter, though. And then the shotgun one is going to be, sure, we'll keep that at 0.5. That should be different enough that I should at least see a difference between them. Yeah, that's the exact same. So that is not working, and that means timeout is being set somewhere else in code. Let's do find. Timeout. Oh, lizard laser projectile. I don't think that's the same thing. Timeout, timer minus equals. Projectile adult timeout is equal. That's what I was just changing, wasn't it? Boy, wasn't that working though? Timeout equals -1, huh? So if I take this timeout timer decremation, however you say that, out, that should technically mean that they fly forever, which I should be able to see, and they do. Okay, so it is a timeout related thing. Actually, having this be like infinite range is kind of fun, actually. Probably not good for the game as a whole. It is fun though. I don't know. It's alright. Anyway, distracted. Right, so what are we doing? Timeout. Why is timeout being reset? That goes in there. That should be called after awake. It's called... Oh! We don't reset timeout timer. What an idiot. Okay, so we need a function. Public void set timer to be float to timer, and I'm gonna say timeout is equal to timer, just so we've got the data there, and timeout timer is equal to timer. Okay, much better. That should work now. So if we go into weapons parent, which means that its default is whatever the prefab's default is, which I would actually like to see before I do anything much here. Timeout is 0.2. Wow, that's actually quite a bit smaller than I thought. Okay, so that meaning weapons parent. So for the machine gun, we're gonna do like double and try like 0.4, I guess. And the shotgun is going to be like, stay at 0.2 for right now. I don't want to make it too much smaller. And that's 0.4. Okay, let's give that a go. Man, that... Oh! Ah, my gosh, I'm so stupid. I'm not actually using it to set anything. I was like, it seems like the same to me. What the heck? Oh my goodness. It's because it is. Projectile dot set timer to be timeout. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, that's more like it. So this thing, for all intents and purposes, does like stretch the entire width of the screen now. And is still not as effective close range, which is not a bad thing, I don't think. But definitely more effective for long range stuff. I just don't want to get to the point where that's going to then revalidate the fact that you can just stand in the middle, which, let's be fair, the design of these enemies is such that you can just stand in the middle and make it so that they can't approach you. I want to have them fly back more when they hit each other. And I did that in enemy parents, I believe. Yeah, there it is. We're just gonna... This caused some weird issues, but we're just gonna change it back to being full magnitude for a second here. Just so I can get some ideas here. I don't think full magnitude is really a big problem. In fact, if anything, it makes it so that I need to move around more, which is not a bad thing. To like chase them. Yeah, I think this is actually significantly better this way. Nice. Not bad stuff, not bad stuff. Okay, so let's start feeling around here. Okay, so we've got it so that moving around is a good thing, because it definitely takes longer to kill things if you're standing still and just firing, which is good, because people are always going to go for the easiest option. So the question is, how do we now make moving around more interesting than it is? And I think that might come from different enemy types, because I think this enemy type is about this sort of movement. Also, do I want to rebalance the shotgun distance a little bit? Yeah, I think so. I'm not quite sold on it. I'm not quite sold on the, like, I mean, mechanically, I like the shotgun, but in terms of, like, everything else about it, I'm not sold on it. Like, it just looks so bad! But it's okay, I haven't really worked on combat visuals yet, obviously. Okay, so yeah, boom, boom, boom. How do we want to do this? So, do we want to make it slower? I kind of have this inkling that making it so that it's the same fire rate, but having it fire a little bit less distance might not be a bad play here. So let's give that a go. And then I think I might want to try doing some different enemy types. Like, so what I kind of want to have happen is, I want to have an enemy type that you need to jump over. Like, that's the next goal, is to have an enemy type that you need to jump over. Because then that legitimizes jumping all of a sudden. So right now we've, like, somewhat legitimized moving left and right, so now I'd like to legitimize jumping as well, as something that you need to do to be able to progress. And then we're going to get into the whole sliding stuff, because, you know, that's going to be a whole other thing. But we're getting there, slowly but surely. So, let's see. This here, we're going to try adjusting that a little bit. So shotgun is now shorter. Oh, this feels more like what I want the shotgun to be like. Yeah. No, this is much better, I think, in terms of what the shotgun should be. And it does also push people around, which is kind of nice. I don't think that that's in any way overpowered. If anything, it might be a little bit less useful, but it still definitely has utility for, like, those moments where people are in the air and you can't, like, immediately damage them because their damage spot is not pointing towards you. So yeah, I think this is definitely starting to work. It might not be a bad. Oh, interesting. They're moving at different rates. Huh. I wonder if I didn't switch all of them to something weird. Anyway, so what do you guys think? Like, just based visually on, obviously, you know, I haven't done like a lot of visual work on the combat or anything like that, but does this look generally like combat that you would find fun, perhaps? Is this going in a direction that you like? That's kind of the question of the moment. I'm going to fix a bug that's been bothering me. It seems to me like... Looks pretty fun to me, at least. Okay. That is good feedback. I appreciate it. I mean, we're starting to get somewhere. The combat in the original Rubber Ducky was only fun by accident. I would say that I didn't really like the combat now that I've grown up. You know what I mean? And know better. So I'm trying to keep the same stuff that was fun about that combat, but kind of like make it into a little bit more intelligent and not just super spammy and clicky. So that's the goal here, and I think we're starting to hit that slowly but surely, which is good. But the thing that I want to fix now is I notice when the shotgun hits an enemy, it because it's piercing and doesn't destroy the bullet, it then like creates a million particle bursts all at once because it's hitting its damage spot so many times in a row. And I kind of want to fix that because it doesn't look as good as I'd like. It's a little hard to read. Where is that? And then he wonders, but where is the code? What the heck? Where is this code? It's gotta be an enemy parent somewhere. Collision, enter, no, that's not right. Lunge away. This looks correct. So I think it should only die if not is flying. That should be it. I don't see a reason why enemies should be able to be killed multiple times anyway. It's definitely the place that makes the least sense to find. Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, no, this totally feels way better. If anything, I think I actually might want to buff the shotgun a little bit. Actually, I feel like the bullets are getting sponged again. Hold on a mo. I think the bullets are getting sponged again. But how? That's interesting. Why are so what's happening, you can kind of see it in the shotgun, right? Is when you fire at an enemy that's super close to you, like all of the shotgun bullets just affect that one enemy and don't like pierce through him, which means that they're getting destroyed, which they shouldn't be. I wonder if... Wait a minute. I think I know what's going on. Over here, we have this, hit enemy. What's happening, I think, is it's hitting the collision box and destroying. So it's not destroying when it hits the enemy body, but it is destroying when it hits the enemy collision box. So let's go ahead and switch that. Oh, yeah. No, that seems to have fixed it for sure. Oh, boy. That's actually kind of fun. So then that. Let's let a few of them get closer here just so we can see. Nice! That feels pretty dang satisfying to use without really too much effect design going into it. So I think that'll be pretty fun. But yeah, with just a couple of them on screen, this machine gun just like pushes them away. I think the machine gun I think its distance needs to be toned down a little bit. It's a little much. Oh yeah, and he's at that weird Z angle now where he can't actually be damaged. Okay, let's tone down the machine gun distance a little bit. Not too much, though. I do like that it throws them out a good distance, because that makes it so that you can't just, again, stand and shoot. Let's try, like, 0.3, maybe. Where is the other... So he's in the last place you look, right? There it is. Okay. Let's try that. So how far does that push them out? Pretty far. I don't think it's nearly as egregious as it was, which is good. And yeah, either of these weapons are able to deal with the Horde, but it deals with them in a different way, which is good. I like that. I think the shotgun is definitely still better. Man, I would not mind if that was even a little bit less. Let's try 0.25 maybe. I'll just switch that real quick. 2.5 and 2.5. How do I feel about this? Is this good? Yeah, let's just keep it for now. I don't really have a reason to think that that's not what it should be. Also, I think the big guys need more health. Because suddenly, like, I kind of want to, like, have a reason to damage them a lot, you know? So let's also do that and just, like, randomly select some of these guys to be big, like maybe those guys. Make giant on load. And if we go over here to enemy parent, make into giant, health times 2, we're gonna do health times like 4 at least and see how that feels. So we've got some random big guys in here. Nice. I would say that that's pretty satisfying to like have something with a little bit more meat to sink some bullets into. I will say having the bigger guys get pushed back by the machine gun does not feel the best ever, which means that the shotgun is a good good way of killing them, and that feels pretty satisfying to do, so I don't think that's really a bad thing ultimately. Especially if you've got movement options to try to take them out more quickly. Nice! Yeah, I think that's good. Let's try it again. Let's just get some feels here. So especially if we've got like walls flying around here, so you like it's possible to pin enemies against a wall so they can't fly away and stuff like that. All of these would be things that would make this feel better, because right now it's like, oh, he's all the way up there. That's, you know, that doesn't feel as good as I would like. Or at least, I don't think it feels bad, but I think that there needs to be a limited amount of that. Like, it can't just always be the case that happens. Or else that's going to get not quite as fun. But, I mean, honestly, I feel like this is starting to really come together. I keep saying that, and then I keep changing things, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I think this is starting to come together. Maybe one of these times it'll actually be true, right? But yeah, no, I'm like focusing on the big guys, and that's good. Yeah, no, I think this is really working. Nice. Okay, excellent. So let's just leave that for the mo. Actually, real quick, I want to try just putting some rando like blocks around. Yay, cube in the nether. Just so that like there's something to pin people against. I don't know. I gotta have this be a balloon if I like it mechanically. So that can go like here. Let's see what that feels like. First of all, bullets definitely need to not pierce through that. That's the first thing I notice. I kind of like that you can hide underneath here and have to, like, you know, destroy people that way. And then if we had an enemy that was, like, crawling along the ground or something like that, that would mean that you need to make a push outward. And yeah, I think there's some dynamic things that could happen with that. I don't think this is at all a bad thing. Especially if we had, like, some projectile enemies that were, like, firing and you could use the wall to block that. I think that would be pretty fun. So maybe what I should do next is figure out a projectile enemy of some sort. Okay, but definitely I think if these projectiles hit a wall, they need to not survive that. So let's do that real quick. So if other dot tag is double equal to ground, I think that should do it. Destroy me. Good, good, good. And then we just need to make this block into a piece of ground and not just a random block. Oh, it's not tag, it's layer. Wait. Yeah, no, ground is all in layer. Womp. Other dot game object dot layer. Is that it? Yeah. Is double equal to layer mask dot name to layer of ground. Nice. Yeah, that works. Yeah. I mean, obviously there's going to need to be an effect for it eventually. Nice. This actually, I mean, this, if I was not the dev and had no health bar and everything, I think this would actually feel pretty tense, but definitely manageably tense, just like tense, in terms of like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of enemies, with having this wall here and everything. I might, for these big guys, I might just make the collision box on these flying guys a little bit bigger in general. Because it's just a little bit small. Every once in a while, a bullet feels like it should hit and it doesn't. Okay, so I think that I've officially tested to the point where I feel confident that I can, like, start working on other aspects. So I'm gonna just delete all these guys, and just work on, like, getting this guy to where I want him, and then putting him in the prefab, and, you know, just some stuff like that. Let's see. So I want to come on down here. So the question of today is, what am I going to have for dinner? Which to many seems like a pretty obvious question, whatever the heck you have in the house. And that's just where the problem lies, because I think the most that could be said is I have, like, some cooking spray and chicken nuggets and a can of beans. So, what does one do with those, I wonder? And I don't really know. Maybe you take the chicken nuggets, you stuff the beans in the chicken nuggets. Okay. Cooking spray topping, that's where that was going. Let's just enlarge this collider. Sounds like a great meal to me. To you and to no one else. I think maybe I need to go shopping before I eat today. Okay. That should be bigger enough. Is he a gigantic one? Yeah, he is a gigantic one. Nuggies make everything better. Dude, chicken nuggets are life. Let's just be honest. Nice, that feels better. So here's an interesting thing. I've noticed this doing collision boxes before. Collision boxes should always be generous. Like, there is never a point in which a collision box should not be generous. So, like, if you want it to be pinpoint accurate, then it should be, like, only accurate. And if you want it to be generous, then it should, like, extend far past the bounds of the visual. So in this case, like, medium, I don't really, care. I don't really know. But I just know, oh, if the enemy is vaguely pointed away from me and I don't hit them every single time I fire at them, it's not going to feel satisfying enough, So I'm going to put a few people in here and I'm going to make some of them small. And we're going to see how that feels. It might be a little bit easy to kill the small guys now with the machine gun. Or, I mean, maybe not. Let's do this again. I can just get an idea. No, not at all, I would say, actually. Because I definitely still need to prioritize which ones are coming close to me. Yeah, I think it's okay. It could be worse, I'll put it that way. I don't know. I need to think about that. I might actually have it so that they fly back a little bit further when they get hit. Let's do that, actually. Flying enemy. How far do you go back? Oh, right. I have, like, a variable, right? Lunge on hit from damage. Yeah! So all of these guys, we're gonna turn that to, I don't know, 18. Let's try 18. See what that feels like. Yeah, I think this feels okay this way. I have no particular problems, I think. Those guys can definitely still get thrown out of your range. It's okay, though, because there's, like, ways of approaching them. And I think that's, like, the more important thing here is, like, if something is thrown out of your way, you have a way of approaching it. Okay. I think this feels pretty good how it is. I'm going to leave it for now and work on some other stuff so that I don't, like, run into that running in loop sort of design mentality where you just never hit the right thing because you're always just worried about not hitting the wrong thing. So I'm just going to find my flying enemy. Oh, geez. Through that whole testing thing, I had my code up, sorry. I'm gonna find my flying enemy prefab here. Flying, and I'm gonna replace that. I'm pretty happy with how that's feeling. You can see how weird the collision box actually looks. Okay, Twitter break. I feel like I cap my, like, the little bits of design that I do with a Twitter break. So there's like a mental divide there. Eight. Okay. So, what do we want to work on here? So what all do we have? We've got, wah. I want to make enemies that have projectiles. I want to, get an enemy that's on the ground, not necessarily the same enemy. I want to, Jeez Louise, man. So many things I could be working on. It's kind of hard to, like, rationalize all of them. I could work on getting other weapons in, but I feel like that's partially not needed right now. I could do environment stuff. I think, because I'm on the combat thing already, I think I want to work on one of the enemies. And I think that's going to be the guy that rolls on the ground, because I don't really have a good idea for the projectile-based guy. Okay, makes sense to me. So how do we want to do this? I feel like we should probably copy it from the flying enemy. So, okay, what is this enemy going to do? That's the question. Let's just get a little sphere on the screen here and just kind of drag them around until something makes sense. Zero them out. Wow, that's slower than I expected. Okay, so he doesn't need to be a sphere, of course, but the idea being, so let's say he's over here, and I had a slope or something. So is this a guy that activates slopes, or is this a guy that activates the jumping? Maybe what I'm actually doing is I'm doing an enemy that bounces on the ground. Wait, but if he bounces on the ground, does that legitimize jumping over him? Or does that legitimize running under him? I think that legitimizes running under him. But a guy that's, like, coming down, coming towards you, and you have to shoot him from behind, that would legitimize, what am I trying to say? That would legitimize jumping over, because you would have to jump over him, or shoot him with a shotgun, I guess, to deal damage. Maybe you should have enough health that if you shoot him with a shotgun, it wouldn't, like, destroy the enemy instantaneously, so there would have to be a little bit of running around and maneuvering that would take place for that to happen. Sure, let's give that a go. I think that sounds pretty good. Scroll. This is, so, I do this thing where, if I, like, hold in the, or, like, if I'm trying to write something and I feel my mind wandering, then I'll, like, instinctively start, here, I'll show you on the code screen. I'll instinctively start, like, highlighting things over and over again, because, like, it gets my attention back to that. I don't do it consciously. It's really weird. So if it's like, oh yeah, my mind's wandering, but I already know what I'm supposed to be doing, then it's like, you know, drag the screen around real quick. It's super weird though. Like, I never notice it until like somebody's watching me code or something like that, and I'm like, wait, why am I doing that? Super weird. Okay. So we need to have him activate with slopes, which means we kind of need a slope to test. Ooh, here is an excellent opportunity to show off some of the slope mechanics. I'll just put in, like, I'll just use a cube. I can kind of show it off. Scale this guy down. So what I've done, I kind of want the movement to be super kinetic, almost Sonic-like in some sort of ways. I'm like, I'll put it in the way that I'm definitely taking more inspiration from Sonic than I am from Mario, movement-wise. Not that those are like the only two, but you know what I mean. So like if I have a slope like so, which should be that, and this one is no friction. Unfortunately, I don't have the best way of handling this right now. I'm gonna be figuring out something better here. But if I have something like so, and I'll just get rid of him. Like if I stand on this slope, I kind of slide down a little bit. But if I'm sliding down the slope, ooh, wow, that camera does some weird things, man. Okay, that's gonna have to change. Anyway, but if I slide down the slope, obviously I keep the momentum, which is kind of fun, because then when you get like super long slopes like so, you can really build up a lot of momentum. And slide down them really quick, and it's super kinetic and super fun, and that's the hope anyway. I can... Yeah, slopes are always super fun. So like... Oh, that's interesting. I can't fire when I'm standing on this platform. Huh. So anyway, like I can build up a lot of energy and then slide really fast. And of course, like with different slopes going up and down, then like you can use the shotgun jump to like kind of keep your momentum going by not hitting slopes and do stuff like that. And it's super fun to do. I think it's going to be super fun once I get like the right flavor of level design put together to make it happen. But also, I'm noticing I kind of like him to start moving backwards when he does that, and he doesn't. Also, of course, the shadow's totally messed up. Oh my gosh, what's going on? Okay. Obviously, there's some bugs to be looked at, but that's the general idea. Any hoozle. I'm gonna just get this set up in a way that I can run some enemies down the slope and have that be a thing. Looks completely normal to me. Yeah, right. Okie doke. So, what do we want this enemy to be? I kind of feel like just for testing's sake, I kind of just want him to be a sphere, just like the flying enemy guys, maybe differently colored, just so I can visually parse how they would look, you know, distinctive in the actual game. And I want him to be, I think, like a larger size. Whoa. This music has taken me completely off guard. Dude, this is jazzy as heck! This is from Pokemon? What? What Pokemon game is this from? Neat. Yeah, cool. Anyway, so I want him to be a bit bigger, and I think if he gets knocked back, that's fine, but I want his momentum to lurk back to what it was before he gets knocked back. So you can keep him at bay with the gun, but he's going to be coming back at you. So what I have for the lizard, I actually might be able to show it now that we have a slope. Is the lizard able to be shown? Oh, that's a problem with this setup. Having my screens like that. Okay, so if we've got this lizard, I can drag him onto the slope here. And so what he does is he has like two different movement states. Well, actually a few different. But if he's on a slope, did I actually set that to not have friction? Yeah, I did. That's not doing what I expect it to. But he'll like, maybe it doesn't do it if the slope isn't like enough. But when he's on a slope, he'll like slide down automatically, and then when he's on the ground, then he'll walk himself forward. You can kind of see it just a little bit there. Here, let me move the player over. So, man, he's not... Jeez, he's all sorts of whacked out. Lizard, what's going on, man? Why are you doing that? I'll have to see if I actually have a updated prefab stored. I've got a test scene with like a whole bunch of different stuff in it. Also, man, this camera just like... Bleh. So, any hoozle, the lizard boy is very good. Yes, he's a good lizard. All of them, here, I'm gonna pause the music in the back for a moment. But I've got just like the test jungle music from back in the first game put in right now. But you can see they all like move and bounce to the rhythm and everything. Also, man, that whole tail thing is super whacked out, dude. Glitches are the best. Oh, it's kind of right. It probably has something to do with the floor is actually using a different version of the collider for reasons. But anywho, so I think I want this slope enemy to gain momentum on slopes and only keep that momentum until while it is greater than what his moving momentum should be. And I kind of have this idea that I might want him to move constantly and not move along with the beat. So... Well, let's start working on it, I guess. We're gonna need a new script for sure. You like the bopping to the music? Yeah, I think it's super cute too. Eventually, like, environment design-wise, everything is going to be tied to the music to some degree. Well, not everything, but like a lot of stuff is going to be tied to the music. So like these lizards in the background here are going to be bopping in time, and the seagulls are going to be flying in time, and I might, here I can show you. The sky is actually made out of a bunch of different environmental blocks, which I know is not the best way to use resources, but it's just blocks, so I'm not too worried about it. Jeez, what the heck did I just do? Anyway, so one thing that's kind of cool about this, you can see it in the game window over here, is I can like rotate all of these individually, and it kind of does a thing. And I kind of want to make maybe something like that, like a heavy part of the music, then the sky is also bom 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 or something, or maybe even just use that as like a general effect just for ambiance. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I can do with it. I'm looking forward to it. What happened here? I think Unity might have had a small little error. Do you think that sounds really cool? Yeah, I think it will be. I think it'll be one of those things that you might not even notice consciously, but will kind of help set a tone. You know what I mean? Which is going to be really important. Right, so we need that script. New behavior script. That can go away. And we're going to call this the rolling enemy. Why not? Rolling enemy. Okay. Yeah, I think it definitely adds a lot of flavor, even just the minor things. I totally agree with that. Especially because it also gives a way for the environment to act with the gameplay in a way too, which it might be important, might not be, I don't know. But because everything is acting in time with each other, and then also combat is kind of acting in time with the music and everything like that, because the flying enemies do fly in time with the music. I think all of that is going to come together to a place where it feels very natural that, you know, everything is in the same environment and stuff like that. Once I actually get those details put in and et cetera, etc. I think it's going to be good. Of course, you know, I haven't really tried exactly this before. I did kind of some of this stuff in the last Rubber Ducky, but not nearly to the same extent. So It's definitely going to be a lot of experimenting to get it to be correct, but I think it'll be fun. So here's our little rolling guy. I think I'm actually going to just real quick take a copy of Flying Enemy, unpack the prefab, and start working from there. And we're going to call this Rolling Enemy. And so we'll set him up here for now so that we can see him roll. And also I'm going to take the player back a little bit. That's the camera. Whee! Also, it's kind of hard to see, but like all the background elements, because it's all in a 3D environment, they all parallax, which is super fun. I like it. Anyway. Man, that shader. Look at that right here. That just does not look right. How? I don't understand, man. Anyway. So this guy... I probably don't really need these particle systems anymore. I'm just gonna deactivate it. So this probably needs to be a no friction surface. And obviously we're not going to have that. Shaders are a confusing mess to me. I try to avoid them whenever I can. Yeah, same here, which is sad because, like, I mean, they're so cool and they're so useful, but, like, shader language is just so weird, man. And then also, it's difficult to understand what they're doing, and I think I just need to spend a week sometime, sit down, and just, like, figure it out, you know what I mean? And then after that, I think it'll be a lot better. Doing a quick message break here. They're really cool. It's just such a pain in the backside to even attempt to get started with them. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The most that I've done is I took a shader that was gifted to me by my brother for the sake of this project, and did some editing on it to take opacity and stuff like that, which is not too hard. Like, I just kind of looked up a tutorial on how what was it? What are the two parts of the? It's the thingy and the thingy. Surface. How the surface rendering works and stuff like that. So. The thingy and the thingy, yes, I know these things. Yeah, I know, right? Vector is what? No, it's the vertex and the fragment, I think. That was the fragment that I was trying to talk about, not the surface. Because a surface shader is different than a vertex and a fragment shader. And I'm using a surface shader, so it was the surface rendering after all. Oh my gosh. Whatever. Anyway, the most I ever did with shaders was some sine wave stuff to get a water ripple effect. Oh, that would be super fun. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, technically that's not too hard, but even doing that is, like, definitely an accomplishment, you know? Right, this guy needs to roll. That's what we're doing. So rolling enemy, and I'm just going to, and transition over to here real quick. This is super funky music too. I like this. I do have, obviously, enemy parent. Yeah, it's not exactly hard, but for me it was a pain. The language is so weird, and the Unity compiler just throws vague errors at you if you mess something up. Yeah, I know, right? They're not really even compile errors. They're just kind of like, we weren't able to process this errors, which I mean, yeah, that's technically a compile error, I guess, but it's not helpful, and it's, you know what it's like? It's like linking errors. It's, like, have you ever done anything with, like, linking your own code, or anything like that? Shader errors and linker errors are very similar, because neither of them really mean very much. You have not? Yeah, so the language that I started in college was C++, and we did everything from scratch, like no GUI for text editing or anything like that. So a lot of what we were doing was doing stuff like linking in binaries and stuff like that. And yeah, linking errors are just the worst. Like, if things don't link correctly, it spits out something that doesn't make any sense, and then you have to go through all your documentation to see, like, what function you misnamed or something like that, you know? Not the most fun, but it is actually really interesting, too. So I can't complain too much, really. So that's that. I don't think we need that anymore, though, because I'm not even using it. Oh, see, I'm on the code. Health. So this guy's health is going to be more than normal. What is it going to be? What's the health of the flying enemy? Flying enemy health is 10. So let's just start the rolling enemy health at like 40, I guess? 30 maybe? Yeah, let's see what happens. Mesh renderer. So on the flying enemy, that's the sphere. Oh, of course. I started with Visual Basic in Java before eventually moving on to C# and C++, so I think I've had it pretty easy. Yeah, I mean, all of those are definitely similar enough that that it's not a difficult transition. But of course, I mean, you know one language and you do know a lot about other languages too. I, for the longest time, really only used like C++ and languages similar to that one, like C# and Java and stuff like that. But then at some point, I got into the web sphere and the app sphere, and suddenly had to learn like 5 new languages for all that. And after that, it's picking up another language has not been very difficult at all, because you've got the functional ones, you've got the integrated ones for app stuff, and then you've got the object-oriented ones, and that's really all there is right now, you know, besides super weird ones. Like, there's that one language that's like based off of recursion or something like that. It's super weird. Okay, just a rigid body reference, collider reference, shake on die should be probably a little bit higher, so let's try 0.5. Is flying is active is probably true. Oh no, I guess it does that automatically. Ooh, this is where it gets fun. Get to choose the particle colors. Particle colors, so we'll make it like size 3, and I don't know what the enemy is actually going to look like, but we're going to do some pretty funkalicious things going on over here. Yeah, these days it's mostly just syntax you need to learn. I still get confused with memory pointers in C++. Yeah, that's true. Memory management is definitely one of those large, meaningful differences between languages, for sure. It's kind of like how Python handles arrays is almost a little bit like that too. Not in the memory management sense, but in the sense like if you're going to use Python effectively, you need to know specifically how arrays in Python work. Like in C++, if you're going to use C++ effectively, you need to know how memory management in C++ works, or I guess memory management in general. So yes, I totally get you there. So those are going to be funkalicious, and then particles when he goes off screen. We're going to do green, very green. This is going to look horrible. Green and yellow. Woo! That's going to be fun. Okay. Particles on die. Wait, which one is the off-screen one? I didn't name these well. Flide. Okay, Flide is the off-screen one. That is a horrible name. So particles on die, we're going to put it like 70. Particles on hit can be 0. Let's try it with a few, I guess. Like 10 maybe. That's a lot. Let's do 6. Particles on flied, we can do like 120. Lunge amount on hit, is that not the one that I just implemented recently? It is. What do we want? Definitely more than 2, I can tell you that much. Right, this is going to be different though. I might need to do some overriding to make this work correctly. We're just gonna put this at like 5, I guess. And just work with that in a little bit. So the next thing I want to do is I would like to scale. Can I just... Is this gonna cause any problems? I guess we're gonna see. Let's start that up and see if we get any big errors. Oh, he's floating away. Bye. Okay, that's okay and makes sense. And I'm not going to use the default gravity just because I want a little bit more control over it than that. Okay, so I think our rolling enemy is okay in the Unity hierarchy. I think we can start working on that over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to give him some gravity first, because the gravity is actually going to take care of him sliding down hills if it's coded like the player's gravity is. Let's just take a look at flying enemy code for a second here. So he's just got a rigid lerp, which makes sense because he just lunges in a direction. So I think... How do we want to do this? So if he's being hit, he needs to have a rigid lerp. Or if he's being, like, hit, like with the knockback sort of a thing, he needs to have a rigid lerp. So... Oh, yeah. Okay, I got it. So... We might need to do some editing on enemy parent to make this work, but... void update... So we're going to have something like this. I just... oh, jeez Louise. Wait, is that being hidden in flying enemy too? No, this is being overridden. Wah wah. Base dot update, and that should be an override. Okay. And then we do want a dxl public float dxl. And what is that on flying? Oh, we'll figure it out in a little bit. So we do want that, and so what's going to happen here is if he's being pushed, like by the player bullets, then he's going to have a deacceleration. Or if he's above a certain amount. How do I differentiate him rolling down a hill and him being on the ground? I mean, the... Oh, right. The lizard does it by checking whether he's on a frictionless surface or not, which is probably why that is not working right now, because I changed the ground detection. That all makes sense. Okay. So... wow. My train of thought is all over the place. I think I'm starting to get hungry. So in other words, what does this guy need to do? This guy needs to have gravity. That's that's what we need to be doing right now. That's the most important part. So I should be able to just, like, oh, public float, grav modifier, and we should be able to do something like, float mov y is equal to my rigid velocity dot y, and then after we've done editing to mov y, then we can come back and say my rigid dot velocity is equal to new vector 3 of oh, might as well just do it this way. Mov x is equal to my rigid dot velocity dot x, and so that's going to be mov x, mov y, and then 0. I don't think there's ever a point at which I want him to be moving in the z. I don't think so. So, oh, I just did that thing. I just did that thing where I highlight the text when I'm, like, my mind is wandering, but I'm trying to, like, focus. That's so weird. Okay, right. My rigid velocity, so we are setting that, which means I can mov y plus equals grav modifier. Oh, that should probably be times time dot delta time, shouldn't it? Probably. Yeah, because it's an update, so of course. Also, this is messy, so let's do that. Okay, that's a little bit better. So he should have gravity now, so long as I put some modifier on him, which I'm gonna do. So what's the DXL for the flying enemy? DXL is 4. Okay, we'll start with that and see where that gets us. And what is the gravity modifier for the player? Gravity is 0.6, so we will start with that. Well, that didn't work. Where are you going, man? Here, let's go join him on his adventure. Oh, I don't think I can catch up with him. He's too good at this. He's too good at his job. Oh, yeah, he's gone. Why? Why didn't that work? Oh, in player, I wonder if I don't, y mov minus equals gravity. Hey, I wonder if that should be times time dot delta time. Yeah, I think it should be. I'm gonna make a note of that. To do reconsider this. So in other words, he does have gravity, it's just not nearly enough, because that's gonna need to be more like 60, I think, for it to be, oh no, it'd be times 6, so I think that would, times 60 rather. So that should be 36, I think, to be functionally the same. Okay, that's going the wrong way. Minus equals. That's way better. Okay. I can show the screen now. There we go. Oh wow. Okay, he really comes after you, doesn't he? Okay, nice. That's doing about what I'm hoping for. Although he does roll really fast right now, so that might be a little bit much. That boy is on a mission. Yeah, look at him go. Dude, this mission, or this music. Wow, I must be getting hungry. What am I saying? So we do also want to, update his, collider direction based on his movement. How do we do that in the flying enemy? Do we do it by, do we end up doing it by vector 2? No, it's by angle. Right. So, I'm thinking here. So if it's by angle, I can probably just reuse this code. Oh, I should really put this in a function, shouldn't I? Yeah, probably. Oh, I can put it in enemy parent. Yo, that'll be perfect. Okay. What are we gonna call this? We're gonna call this how about get angled direction from rigid? Sure, why not? Public virtual float get angled direction from rigid. And we can actually just turn that. Nice. And then fly, yeah, that can be get angled direction from rigid. And we can get rid of that. And then this can be get angled direction from rigid. Oh, wow, dude, I can actually, I don't even need this reference anymore. That's useless. We can just do that. Nice. That is significantly cleaner. I do like that. And that should still work. I'll check it here just to double check, but I think there shouldn't be any reason why it wouldn't. Gotta love clean code. I know, right? Clean code is legitimately really nice. So we're just checking the flying enemy right now, just to make sure that that's still working as expected. Yeah, definitely. Totally. Oh, man. I should probably take that lizard out of there for right now. He's causing all sorts of fun stuff to happen. Okay, lizard. You are being retired for the moment. Actually, I'll just delete him. Shame mine never looks like that. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I would not say that my code is necessarily super clean, but there is, I mean, I do try to at least make it semi-readable. I mean, I think most people do that though, don't they? I would not say that I have above average code by any means. I think it's pretty dang average. I don't know. Anyhoozle. Going back to this guy. Right, now he needs to, rolling enemy, back to code. I do up to a point at least, yeah. That's kinda what I do too. As is probably really obvious, I'm really bad at commenting, because I'm used to working on projects by myself. And every once in a while, like I'm working on a project with a team, not MaxX, but a different project with a team, and the director is like, hey, can we, like, maybe clean up the code base a little bit? Because I'm pretty sure the other programmer is scared to enter it because there's no comments. And I was like, oh, okay. Just don't look at my last project's character controller. It's a mess of jank. Oh my gosh, character controllers are always the worst. Hold on, where's my player movement collision? Did I close it? I must have closed it. Yes, in other words, I totally understand. Character controllers are always the worst. Why am I in weapon parent? That's not where I need to be. Rolling enemy. Dude, I like this music too. Pokemon has good music. So, right, he needs to have the thing do the thing. Right, we need to... What is it called? Lerp 2? Nah, that's not it. What did I call that? Is it not in here? Where's my lerp thingy pivot thing? Oh, did I put that in the flying enemy? What an idiot. Ow. That doesn't go in there. That goes in here. Because we're going to probably use that for all of them. It's desync pivot thing. Oh yeah. Well, that is probably going to be there forever now. Oh well. Set lerp rotation, and we can set that to get angle direction from rigid. Nice. That should work, I believe. That's an excellent variable name. Tells you exactly what it's for. Oh! Whoa! What did I do wrong? Oh, I didn't set the reference. Visual rotator? Visual pivot? What did I... Oh, there it is. Yeah, so I have this thing with a couple... Oh, nice. That that actually looks really cool. How would... Dude, that might be a way better way of doing the lizard tail than having physics hinges. Huh. I need to consider that. Wait. So if you have things pivoted and then rotating based off of the... maybe. Yeah. I was just thinking, if you have like a section tail like this over here, and you have them parented to each other, but then also rotating on a pivot just like that, technically speaking, if you can just find the differential of transform for each object, couldn't it make a perfect tail that would also ride along the ground? It's worth thinking about. Anyway, let's take another look at this guy because he's kind of fun. Oh, plays. Yeah, nice. He definitely goes too fast though. He's on far too much of a mission right now. So how do we cap his speed? Because it is well, I mean, we can just hard cap it. It's a very important mission, clearly. Yep. Rolling enemy. Oh, right. Transition to code. I mean, we could just hard cap it, but then he can't gain speed when he's going down a hill. Which I could have an on-ground checker for him. And that could sense if it's a friction surface or not. Which might kind of be my only real option here. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so back to here. Where's my on-ground checker? On-ground checker. Don't I have that as a prefab? Apparently not. Where is it? On ground. This is on ground checker. It's a prefab. No, it's not. That's the problem. Let's just pop that in here. Yeah. We'll just copy, unpack, and on ground, bump. Perfect. Okay, rolling enemy. Oh! Dude, I never switched the lizards on ground checker. That is not helping him at all. Poor little guy. Okay, there's that. Where's my scene, please? That stretches, honestly, probably stretches far enough down. So that should... we can public on ground checker, my on ground checker. So essentially, I should be able to check now with that checking object that I just put in there. I should be able to check if he's on a friction surface or not, like how I've defined them. Oh, excuse me, jeez. And because of that, if on ground... Ah! Oh my gosh! What kind of noise was that? My on ground checker dot is frictionless, then, or rather, if not, then we can cap it. If here's the global way of doing movement capping. I think there's not a better way of doing this in the world. So if mathf.abs wait, public float max x speed. So if mathf.movx is larger, or, well, just larger, is larger than max x speed, then mov x is equal to max x speed times mathf.sine of mov x. Oops. And so that will cap your x speed both directions. You can do the same thing with y speed if you want to. I mean, functionally is one line, which is super fun. That is a bit of code that I've used in every single game project I've ever made, and I mean that. I don't think I've ever made a game project that didn't have, well, okay, I'll take that back. I think the first platformer that I made didn't have friction. But yeah, I think I've used that bit of code in every single project I've ever made since. It's just so helpful. That would have been helpful for me about 12 months ago. Yeah, right? See, stuff like this, like, you just kind of need to know it, you know what I mean? It's not too hard to figure out, I guess, unless you're, like, not like, oh, how am I going to one-line friction code? You know what I mean? Or capping code. You can do the same thing with friction, too. But anyway, so that'll cap, if he's not on a frictionless surface, that should cap his x speed. One problem with this is not actually going to totally work for what we need. We actually want this to lerp to that speed. Is mathf dot lerp, right? Yeah. Okay. So we can lerp from what his mov x is. This will be so that him slowing down after a slope will be smooth instead. And DXL ground. Oh, we can just use DXL. We're not using it anywhere else, right? Yeah, we can do that. DXL times time.delta time. Yeah, I mean, mine was like 2 or 3 lines. That's still pretty good. Some people have like 20 lines of code for all sorts of movement checking, and you just don't need that. You can do it in a few lines if you just kind of use the right stuff, you know? I mean, like, now he comes to a stop. It's still one line, functionally. But you can do a lot with just a line or two. So long as you parse up your variables correctly. So anyway, so that should lerp him to the max speed correctly over DXL if he's not rolling down a hill. I think that actually should just kind of work. I don't think we need to do anything more except put in the right DXL. DXL is 4. What's player's friction? Did I get rid of the extra player? I did, good. Friction norm is 0.6. Let's go ahead and do 0.6 for now. See what that looks like. And we have a problem. It's probably because I didn't set on ground checker, isn't it? Yep, that's exactly it. Okay, we're gonna try that again. And he comes to a stop, slowly. Also, he... Oh, no! Why is that happening? Huh! Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't set max X. So it's trying to lerp down to 0. So max X speed is gonna be like 4, maybe? 4 might be a little slow. So now we should just keep going at about that speed infinitely. Looks like he is slowing down. Yeah, I'm gonna jack up the the deceleration to like 1,000,000, just so I can see if he does actually stay at the speed that I'm expecting him to stay at. Because if not, then we need to have. Oh, did you see that? He was deaccelerating on the Okay, he does, but he was deaccelerating on the ramp, so that's not actually working 100% right now. So, what's this? My enemy parent don't take damage. Whoops! Forgot to set. The code window kind of blocked it, so I couldn't see. Oh, okay. I will do that again. Where? Wait. I just lost my train of thought. Right. Rolling enemy. No. Desync collider pivot. Desync collider. There it is. And there's the enemy parent that needs set. So what's happening right now, I'll see if I can make it so you can see it through the code window, is so he's on his mission and everything like that. But if I jack up the deacceleration a ton, I can kind of like push him back that way, I think, so you can see. He does actually, you can't really see it unless the deacceleration is super jacked up. Essentially, it's not sensing that he's on a sloped surface right now. And because of that, it's applying all of the friction to try to turn him down to max speed of 4. So I just jacked it up again so you can see. So notice how he's going down the ramp slower than he was before, and it's because his movement, or it's because his speed is getting capped, which it should not when he's on a surface like that. Although I will say, then it's getting slower. Is that just because I jumped on him? Maybe. That looks so weird. Whoa! What the heck? I think. Oh, that's so funny. It's because I haven't set flyaway direction, and because he has gravity associated with him. That's kind of neat. I kind of like that, actually. Anyway. So that needs to go back to 1.6. And I need to figure out why that is not correctly sensing. I didn't feel like it was because Ducky didn't seem to be doing what I expected him to on the slope either. So I think my on-ground checker is just broken in general. And I think that's going to be something that I save for next time, because I think that I'm going to go grab some food and get life assorted for the weekend and stuff like that. So I'm going to head up for now, and I might start the stream back up later, depending on what work I'm doing, because some of the work that I do, I don't think I'd be allowed to stream. So I'm gonna probably just stream my own projects for right now until I can like figure that out for sure. But yeah, thanks for showing up to the stream. I super appreciate it. I definitely like having people watch. So yeah, make sure to give a follow. I don't know how many people are in here, but for at least the one that I know is in here, make sure to give a follow or follow my Twitter to see when I'm going to be streaming next. And I am going to figure out how I stop this. That's me. Well, thank you. I do really appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Makes it a lot more fun for me. But yeah, I will catch you later, dude. See you on Twitter.